I hate Purple and L. I hate seeing Lucy drawing a million cards per turn. I just don't like seeing my opponents having all the biggest boards in the world with all the cards in their hands with you just sitting there powerless to do anything about it. So, what does that mean for me? It means that I'm the only person crazy enough to play Koala in this godforsaken format, and you know what? I'll be damned if I don't do something about it. How's it going, everybody? My name's the King of TopDecks, and today we're going to be breaking down my deck list for, or at least my starting deck list for the OP-15 format for Black Yellow Koala. If you're new to the channel, you probably aren't too familiar with this, but everybody who's been here before knows that Black Yellow Koala is by far my favorite deck. This has been my main deck since OP-12, and I am planning on bringing this to regionals. So this is going to be one of my, I'm going to be starting a little bit of a playlist going on here, which is going to be my road to the regionals. I want to bring you all along with me. I'm planning to bring this to the Toronto regionals, which we'll be playing with the OP-15 format, and this is going to be the deck that I'm going to be bringing. I don't anticipate to win, but I'm at least hoping to just do as best I can. This will be my very first regionals, and I'm very excited about it, and I want to give it my all. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and break down what this deck is doing, what changes we made for it, specifically the OP-15 format, and then we'll kind of go from there. But first and foremost, before we do any of that, let me go ahead and give a quick shout out to,
if you're in the market to pick up some proxies for the leaders for your decks, I would heavily recommend that you check out a local proxy vendor here in Buffalo, New York, who goes by the name of The Mail. He has some very good quality proxies, and I've actually gotten quite a few of myself. And they're really good quality. He has some really good prices for them, and I'll also include his link to his Etsy store in my bio, but I'll show you a couple examples of some that I got. Obviously I had to get the Koala, you know, have to have my girl being a manga. Then I've got Yamato, as I mentioned, one of my favorite pet decks to play. I've got my red black Sabo. I've got, that is not the proxy, that's my proxy. My black purple Luffy. And then our blue yellow Nami. So some incredibly good quality proxies here, and I'll actually, and if you use the link that's in the description below, you'll actually be able to save a little bit off your order. So please go ahead and check them out, and I'll be making sure to link be making sure I link their store in the description as well. Back to the video. Whoosh.
alrighty, and now that that's out of the way, so I'm gonna kind of skim through this a little bit quickly, because I do have some pretty in-depth guides on how to play Black Yellow Koala already, and the core of the deck has not changed. Really, the only thing that changed has just been some of our flex spots. So we'll kind of just briefly go through some of the cards and what they do, and we'll kind of go from there. So first things first, we'll start off with the girl herself, Koala. So Koala has an effect that says when this leader attacks your opponent's leader, if you have 2 or more characters with a cost of 8 or more, draw a card. And then once per turn, when your opponent plays a character with a base cost of 8 or more, or if they play out a character with another character's effect, they take a life. This is kind of our bread and butter. There's a couple of decks in the format that just kind of get around our leader ability, unfortunately, and there's not really much we can do, which is why I'm probably the only crazy person actually playing Koala in this format, because it's not looking good for me against a lot of the meta decks. I've certainly got a very uphill battle to climb. But what I'm just going to be hoping for here is I'm hoping that we can hopefully outlast our opponents, because we've got a lot of stuff in here, and I'm sure that you're already seeing some things that are making you groan in the background if you're tired of Yellow Slop. But as much as I hate Yellow Slop, as much as everyone in the format hates Yellow Slop, if you want to do well at regionals, you gotta play the best cards. You gotta play the best cards in the format. And as much as it pains me to do it, I have to play a bunch of the Yellow Slop. So we'll get to it once we get to it. But let's go ahead and start talking about the core of the deck, which is our Revolutionary Army. So we are still playing 4 copies of Koala. She's just our primary searcher. She's gonna look at the top 3, grab a Revo Army or Nico Robin, and trash the rest. So she helps us thin our deck, find some stuff, and fill up our trash, which is incredibly important for our late game. We've got 3 copies of Koala, the 4 cost from EBO3. She's going to get plus 4 cost to become an 8 cost, and on KO she plays a character with a cost of 6 or less from the trash. That is either Nico Robin or another Revo Army. The reason why I'm playing her at 3 instead of 4 is because I've been thinking a lot because I know a lot of people, when she first got revealed, they were like, oh my god, she's insane, she's so good, she's so good. But like, you have to remember, a really good opponent is never going to swing into this Koala. They will never kill her. They're just going to ignore her and eat the 5k swing every turn, and they will play around it. And right now in this format, with how many things could just easily get plus 1k, like Lucy trashing those events like nobody's business, Anel with all of those zero cost events, it's very easy just to either not have to worry about this or just to stun her out completely. So unfortunately, I don't think she's very good right now at 4, and it does kind of suck because it's hitting my consistency a little bit when it comes to my Rebel Army names. It's just kind of something that we have to do because I don't really see any other way that we could potentially play around. You know, like obviously you can't play into everything that the format has. You can't get around everything. You can't be you can't really beat the best deck in the format with just the core of the deck alone, and that's where you kind of have to rely on some of the flex spots. So additionally, aside from Koala, our other 4 cost that we are playing is this 4 cost hack. So hack is effectively one of our one of our second best blockers in the game, not in the game, sorry, in the deck, because on KO he pops a 4 cost or less. So against anything that's going pretty aggressive against you, you can just play him out. You can block the first attack, pop a little dude, and then you're looking good. So against Anel, you can use this to pop any of the little guys. If they set up the dog, you can fucking pop the dog and, you know, soak the first hit. But more than likely, if they're, you know, doing what they gotta do, unfortunately for us, both of our 4 costs just aren't looking too good into specific matchups. Like against the Anel matchup, we get frozen or we can just get rested pretty easily, and they'll just ignore the guys. So it gets a little bit tough in some of those matchups, which is why we rely a little bit heavier on some of our tech for the late game. But he's still one of our best blockers. I still prefer him, and I prefer him at 4 over the Koala, just for the fact that in most cases when I'm in the choice between both of these two, I'd usually rather play the hack, because having the defense plus the pop is much better to me than just a 5k swing every turn. Because like I said, no one's going to swing into Koala. Unless they don't know what they're doing. Then in that case, wow, we got free value. Up next, we've got 4 copies of our Morley. He's just a 2k and the occasional plus 4 cost if we're really desperate for some bodies on board. So this is the first change that we made for the deck. I actually dropped my Nico Robbins from 4 to 3. As of right now, I'm still debating about maybe bringing her back up to 4, because I feel like at 3 I'm still not seeing her enough that I can feel comfortable with still being able to play her out when I want her. And that's kind of hurting our survivability a little bit, because she's a very big blocker, but she's also removing cards from your opponent's hand, which is just incredibly helpful for us. So I'm thinking about potentially bringing her back up to 4. It's something that I still have to continue playing around with. But her effect is just still so good, being able to trash 2 cards from your opponent's hands. It's really the only way that we have to combat certain decks right now, with since nobody's obviously playing around Pudding, and obviously we couldn't play Pudding before, but people are getting really cocky with a lot of the cards that they have in hand, and so you can actually just get rid of 2 more cards from their hand and just really ruin their day. And the fact that we can loop her back and forth with Dragon helps us out a lot sometimes. We've got 4 copies of the PRBO2 Sabo. So initially I wasn't playing him in the list because I didn't really have a good reason to play this Sabo. I never had him personally in paper, which is why I was playing the Kuma instead. But because of me wanting to go out to regionals, there is still some situational niches where you could play him out, because if you have enough cards in the trash, you can potentially play him out for 3 and bring him out alongside of a Nico Robin or like a hack or something. Or you can even play him out with a Zoro or a Borsellino. So like, you could potentially still play him out, so there are some better niche uses for him. And he's always been the better pick, which is why people have played him. But because he's been a pretty expensive card, that's why I avoided him for the most part in paper. But right now, I've already picked up my playset of him. So now I'm just trying to try him out, make sure that obviously I gotta give Koala the best quality cards that I can. We've of course got 4 copies of our Dragon. Dragon, I think it's pretty straightforward what we got him in here. He's the big boss monster of the deck. You're never gonna drop him below 4 copies. And the really good part about him is that as of the recording of this video, Rayquaza was just pair banned with Borsellino. So if you didn't know about that, surprise, now you know. But for anyone who's watching this video, you're probably already well aware of that. And as I've seen everybody in our local Discord kind of talking about it and like, oh my god, Rayquazar's banned, Borsalino's dead, Borsalino's dead. We never cared about Rayquazar. I was never even considering playing it for the simple fact that we have Dragon. Rayquazar is effectively Dragon at home. Who needs Rayquazar when you can just play out Dragon? Because guess what? It's any 6th cost or less from your trash. So if I'm getting low on health, I can simply pitch the Borsalino on my 8th on turn, play out Dragon, get the Borsalino. I've got a life and a blocker. This card is ridiculously insane, and it's one of the reasons why, like, I think it just makes Dragon even more powerful. So we'll go over the rest of those when we get there, but like, Dragon's feeling very good in this format and with this list, and right now I think it's just gonna be a matter of tuning it to get the right ratios for what we need. Of course, we've still got 4 copies of Baby 5. I wanted to make sure I had exactly 12 2Ks, so having the 12 2Ks makes you feel very safe. It helps you feel pretty secure, especially with how many bricks we have in the deck. So maximizing those 2Ks that we can get helps out a lot, and I've even considered potentially dropping the Waxing Fists for another 2 2Ks. But sometimes the Waxing Fist really does come in clutch when you need it, so it's very difficult for me to really pull the trigger on this. Plus, I have the really nice looking Waxing Fist. I have the little binder version of Waxing Fist, and it just looks so nice. So like, it's hard for me to pull the trigger to rip this out of the deck, but I might have to really hard consider it one of these days if it's just really breaking me up more than anything. Up next, we have our first set of tech in the deck, which is the 4-cost Zoro. I've got 4 copies of him. This is the brand new Zoro that just came out in OP-15. It's a 4-cost 6k power with no counter that says on play, you may trash a card from your hand and heal a life. It's effectively Kuma, but a turn earlier. The only downside with us playing the Zoro is 1, of course he's another brick, but also 2, he also doesn't benefit our leader effect because he can't buff his cost. So there is unfortunately some give and take when it comes to this, and the reason why I decided to play this and why I've been testing it out is actually because of some of my friends who are local here who I was playtesting my Enel with. So, you know, shout outs to the homies who helped me, you know, really playtest this and kind of get this into a state where I feel like I can genuinely compete with some of the meta decks. Because what we found out in our playtesting is Koala just gets bodied by Enel. By purple Enel, it just gets bodied. It's incredibly hard for us to deal with their aggression. And so the best answer that I had to dealing with his aggression, just heal life. Just keep on healing life. Eventually he'll run out of cards. And you just gotta keep swinging into his board, get rid of the little guys, and slowly but surely you will get through that life total. So this Zoro really helps us out a lot with that game plan, because when you are playing against that purple Enel, regardless of what they do on their first turn, you're going to play out the Zoro, you're going to heal that first life immediately, and you are going to try to do your best to just keep your board healthy, keep it in a good spot. And then the good thing for you having the Zoro out is then they have to decide, do I rest the Zoro and freeze this, or do I rest, you know, the Nico Robin or the Kuma or any of the other cards that you have in the deck. So this gives us a lot of safety, and this helps us out a lot for staying healthy in that matchup, while also healing life, and also just providing a genuinely like fairly decent sized attacker, because most of our other 4 costs are going to be 5k. So it's nice to have another 6 costs that we can rely on to kind of get a little bit more counter from our opponent's hands. And then of course, everybody knows him. It's the big bad of the format. Everyone's been dooming and glooming on Borsalino, but I mean, we kind of have to play it. You know, as much as I don't want to, we have to play it. Borsalino, if you don't know, he's a blocker. On play, if you have 2 or less life, you heal a life. Like I mentioned with Dragon, we can easily loop this over and over and over again, so we can actually just pitch it for counter and then play him out. Or if we have another Dragon in hand, we can block with him, play him out again the next turn with Dragon, and it's just insanely stupid what this card does. I genuinely don't like that this card was printed, because you can't really play around the Borsalino, which really sucks. But unfortunately, if we want to do well in the format, you gotta play the slop. So Borsalino's in here for that reason. And then the last card that I want to talk about in terms of our flex spots is this 5-cost Bell Luffy, or as I've been calling him, Foot Luffy. Footloose! So, what this Luffy does is he's a 5-cost 7k power with no counter. And he says if you have 6 or more Dawn cards on your field, he gets Rush. When your opponent activates an event or blocker, you reveal the top card of your life, and he gets plus 1000 power this turn per 1 cost in the revealed card. Keep in mind, this has no once per turn effect on it at all, and because of how it's worded, if your opponent decides to block first, you then still get to reveal the life and gain the power before you KO your opponent's character. So, it's actually quite impactful, and this card right here is really our savior for a lot of the decks in the format. Against Lucy, against Purple NL, this is really what we're going to be digging for. And the funny thing is, because of the fact that we have so many cards that just say trash a card, trash a card, trash a card, or put things in your trash, put things in your trash, if we just happen to get a Luffy into our trash, we're effectively good. We've effectively got a Luffy in hand and we are ready to go. Because this can also be played out with Dragon. And so this kind of, with how I built the deck right now, this makes it incredibly flexible to the point where no matter what board state I'm in, I have something I can play out with Dragon. If I need to rip cards from their hand, I play out Robin. If I need to heal a life, I can choose to play out Kuma, or I can choose to play out Zoro. If I'm really low on life, I can play out the Borsalino and block. If I need to start establishing more dominance of board pressure, we play out the Luffy and we start swinging for fucking days. And because we'll have 6 or more Dawn by the time we play out Dragon, he's gonna have Rush. So he's an immediate 7k rusher that we can just start clearing the board with. And this is kind of our main answer to the format. I was initially testing him out at 4, and I actually tried him out at my locals yesterday with him at 4, but it felt like I was getting a little bit too bricked up by having him at 4, and so I was initially playing the Baby 5 at 3, so I decided to bump it back up to 4 and bump him down to 3. This is still ratios that I think I'll have to continue playing around with, and I gotta continue doing some more testing with some of the homies. But so far with these flex spots, this has been feeling a very solid into the meta, and I don't really want to change too much about what we have here because we genuinely desperately need some of the stuff that we have. And if you notice, I'm no longer playing the 5-cost Karasu. And in case you're curious, the reason for that is because there's so many things that I want to play either at 5 Dawn or 6 Dawn that are kind of taking up the same spot that he would be, where it just doesn't feel as good. Because right now with how fast the format kind of feels, establishing him against any of the relevant meta decks right now just doesn't feel too good because they could just easily get rid of him or make him null and void to the point where I paid my 5 Dawn for him, played him out, they see that he attacks, makes him lose a card, and they're like, yeah, no, we're just never going to let you do anything with that, and they'll get rid of him somehow. So it's not been feeling good. I haven't been finding very good uses for Karasu, and it sucks because it's a very good card. It genuinely is incredibly helpful, and it helps us out for like the Lucy matchup, but I can't really afford to play because they just have so many other ways to just get rid of it. They have the Berry Berry Pistol, which will just immediately bottom deck our Karasu, which is like, oh, well, there goes my 5 Dawn turn. So, you know, we kind of have to make do with what we have, and that's why I'm no longer playing the Karasu in the list. Other than that, everything else is still pretty standard from what I was playing in EBO3. The 4 Kumas, the 4 Captains Assembled, and then the 2 hair removal fists. So this is the list that we're going to be playing, starting off the OP-15 format. I've been playing around with a couple of different lists, but so far this has been the one that's felt the most consistent, and I'll actually show you guys a couple of other options that I've been testing out. I tested out a little bit more of this like control style deck, which involved playing Shirahoshi and Kaido and the Karasu to kind of like focus on controlling your opponent's hand size, while also playing stuff like the Rayleigh to kind of focus on board removal, and then the 10 cost Luffy for us to have 7k power for until the end of the turn, while also having a big blocker. But this kind of hasn't been feeling too consistent. This Luffy I think is really one of the more underwhelming cards in this deck, unfortunately, because his effect is great, but having to spend 9 or 10 Dawn just to establish one big blocker still doesn't feel as good for us. And by the time we're getting there, like, if we play him out, he's a bit more of a win more card. If we're ahead, this just makes us fucking skyrocket ahead. And if we're behind, it's not looking good for us, and we're probably already floundering. So this would be much better used in something that has a bigger effect the minute it hits the board. Another one that I tested out a little bit was maybe playing a little bit more into the mill. So I was testing it out by having the Bello Betty in here as well, with the Charlotte Lola and Spoils as well. And playing into something that has the Nightmare Luffy. I thought this could be interesting because the Nightmare Luffy could potentially make us a 7k leader on the opponent's turn, and he's already very difficult to remove as it is. But the biggest problem that I found with this style of the list is when you mill your dragons, that kind of feels bad because you have no way to recur a dragon, and that's really the main difficulty that we have. One thing that I was thinking about at first, which I thought potentially would work, was I thought that we could potentially play out the Chopper, because I know Chopper can, I have him inside my PB Luffy list, and he can grab anything from the trash. But then, unfortunately for us, this is Straw Hat locked, which really sucks. So what that means for us is if I want this deck to work, I'd have to find another way to be able to recur our dragons and get them back out from the trash if you want to make this style of list work. But unfortunately, I think this one's just a little bit too gimmicky, and I think it's a little bit too random to really get enough value out of it, because like I said, if you mill those dragons, you are shit out of luck, my friend. And then another one that I wanted to test out was if triggers are looking very heavy in the format. This is something that I was thinking about potentially playing. It looks pretty similar to the list that I currently have right now. The main thing that we have included here is this Kami. Kami is a really interesting card, which I was playing for a little bit in my Yamato list, because of the fact that it says if your opponent activates an event or trigger, you can force you and your opponent to trash the top card of your life, as long as they have 2 or more life. I thought this could be really interesting for us, especially because of the Enel in the format, and just forcing him to say, hey, you want to activate an event, you're going to lose the top card of your life immediately. But I found out very quickly that kind of backfires on us pretty fast because of how fast Enel ends up running. So I haven't really been testing this one out too much. I kind of got a couple of games in it, got stomped with it, and realized this isn't really going to work out. So far, like I said, this has, I think, been the most consistent version of the list that I've made so far, that's so far been working out pretty well. And hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit of that in these next games that we're going to have coming up. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into some of these games. Alrighty everybody, we are back at it again with another video here. So we're going to be up against a Sabo with our Koala list. Honestly, this isn't exactly the best starting hand. I'm thinking about keeping this just so I can do the caps assembled and hopefully hit a 4-drop. It's just tricky though. You know what? Let's risk it for the biscuit. We will keep it. So we are going first. We'll do a little bit of peeking here. Never punished. We get our Koala. So we'll grab that and then we'll go ahead and pass it over to him. So I do, of course, just got to double check. So he's the one that basically prevents... Okay, yeah, so Sabo's the one that basically stops you from killing his board. So it's that Sabo. So this is just going to effectively be just face spam for me for the most part. So I'm just going to start off by swinging 7 at his face, and then I'm going to play out the Searcher Koala, see if we can kind of like try to just continue filtering our hand while also filling up the trash at the same time here. That'll kind of be the ideal play for us. This should be a pretty winnable matchup here for us, I would say. I don't really know too much about how much, like, obviously I don't know too much about this version of Red Block Sabo. I'm more familiar with the other Red Block Sabo, which I do quite like. I'm actually thinking here of grabbing the 2K, because I could grab one of these two, but I'm probably just going to play out the Koala next turn, and then I have Kuma for the turn after that. So I think I want to grab a 2K just so I can feel a little bit safe. So we'll pass it over to him. So him taking life there is a little bit good for us, because at the end of the day, you know, we are still getting him closer to the end of the game, but that does give him quite a few cards in hand, and I still don't fully know what he does. My best guess is that he's probably going to play out some Rush dudes. He's probably got the new Zoro in here, I would imagine. Maybe even Zeph. I'm not entirely sure what people are cooking up with this, but I'm actually going to take this first life because I want to get a little bit more stuff to filter in the hand. So we'll take this. Unfortunately, we got another Koala, which isn't the best, but we make it work. We make it work. Ooh, but us getting Foot Luffy here is going to be pretty decent for the late game when we're trying to close out some stuff. So I think what we'll actually go ahead and do first is let's go ahead and commit some Dawn, because since we don't have another 4 cost in the field yet, we might as well swing first with our leader to bait out some cards or to try to get him to take his life. In general, when you are attacking with Koala, typically you want to wait until you have... Oh, what did you do there? Okay, okay. So just playing out a 5k hack. That's not too bad for us. So we'll play out the Koala and we'll pass. So like I was saying, when you are playing with Koala, you typically want to swing first on your early turns before you establish anything, just in case that they have some weird triggers, like a Rayleigh that could pop your stuff, or just anything in general that you are a little bit concerned about. You really never know, and so the best thing for you to do is just swing first, ask questions later. And alright, so I don't think he knows that most of the rival armies are effectively 8 costs, because what this does is it KOs a character with a cost of 4 or less, and it doesn't specify base cost. So that was a little bit unfortunate for him. I will, however, be giving him 1k, and I think I'll actually pitch the Borsalino here for something that we can play out later. So I'll give him that 1,000. He's probably going to swing 7 with this hack, I would imagine. And if he does... if he swings 7 with the hack, I'll probably just take it. Okay, so he's just going to swing 5. I don't know why he's keeping the 2 Dawn up. So I think I'll probably just give him 1k. We're going to get the Kuma next turn, and we're gonna draw a card. So I'm not feeling too pressed about pitching some cards for counter here. More importantly, it's going to fill up the trash for us to have some things to play out later with Dragon. Alright, so now we're looking pretty good here. So I think the best option for us... There's no reason for me to swing at his board, to be honest. So the first thing I'm going to do here is just swing directly at his face for 5. So we're going to see what we can potentially bait out here. We're either going to get hopefully some counter, or we're going to see him... we're going to see what he might potentially be doing here. So it looks like he's going to counter step. He's giving us 1,000. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and do our Kumin. A little bit of Kumin. I think I'll actually trash Foot Luffy so we can play him out next turn with Dragon. I think we're in a good spot to afford that. And then we're going to go ahead and swing another 5 at his face, and we just draw into another Foot Luffy. We're just built like that. So now, you know what? I actually probably could have gone 6. I forgot that I have the extra Dawn, because I'm so used to playing on curve that sometimes I just forget that I have the extra Dawn still up. Normally I remember that when I'm playing in person, but, you know, it is what it is. But I mean, either way, he's still going to counter out of it, so like we're not really tripping too much. So now the question is going to become, does he decide that he wants to rush our face, or is he going to try to rush board? If he decides to KO this Koala, that really does nothing for him, and if anything is actually significantly better for us, because then I get to play out whatever I want from the trash for free. I can play out the blocker hack, I can play out the Kuma and then just choose, or sorry, I can play out, I can play out the Kuma from hand and just choose not to do its ability. Because Koala's on KO is you can play out a character with a cost of 6 or less with the name of Nico Robin or any other Revel type army other than Koala from your hand or trash. So this is an incredibly strong effect. The only downside is that your opponent has to KO her. So if your opponent knows what they're doing and if they know how to play around your deck, they will leave this Koala alone. It's just going to be a 5k swing that they're going to plan around. And they're only going to swing into it if they're completely desperate and they need to clear your board. But even then, this isn't clearing board if you get rid of this. So, you know, as much as I don't want to give other people advice on how to beat me with Koala, if you do see this on the board, just don't ever swing into it. Just deal with it, ignore it, just pretend it doesn't exist. Alright. So it looks like he's just going to give us minus 1,000. He's going to buff up his hack. Which is making me wonder if he's going to actually try to maybe swing into the Koala potentially. And if he does, I'm really hoping for it. By all fucking means, my dude. Let's go ahead and play out our Kuma. And I'll just choose not to do ability. I don't really need to heal. I'd rather just have the 7k body. So we'll let this go through. We got no trigger for that. He's effectively used up all of his stuff. He's going to play out maybe one more thing, or not. So it's possible he could have another energy hormone. So if he does, it's going to be plus 3k. So we can just go ahead and start off by swinging into his face. The other thing I actually just realized, he doesn't have Dawn on his leader, so I can actually just KO this hack. So I could actually potentially do that just so I can kind of reduce some of the board presence that he has, which I think I'll actually do here. I probably should have done that first, but like it's fine. I really don't mind it. We'll go here. This should force some sort of interaction from him. Okay, no, so he just lets go through. So what we have in trash here is we do have our Bell Luffy and we have Zoro. I'm not in a spot where I think I need to heal, so I'd rather just play out Bell Luffy. So let's go ahead and do that. Or actually, no, yeah. I want to play out the Bell Luffy. So we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. And we'll go ahead and play out our Bell Luffy. And then we're just going to go ahead and swing 6 to his face. Because I don't have any 8Ks, I'm not going to be able to draw a card. But honestly, I'm still looking fine. I'm very much in the driver's seat of this match. So I'm not really too concerned. And if anything, I'll easily be able to take a little bit of... I can always take a life if needed. So I'm not tripping too much. So now we'll go ahead and swing another 7 at him. So unfortunately for him, he's not quite getting anything that's really been too scary or too impactful on his side of the board. So I'm wondering if he has something maybe that's been breaking up his hand, like a 10 drop, that he could be potentially looking to play out now. So now we're going to see the Rebel Army HQ coming out. So we'll see if he decides to use this and what he pitches for the effect. So it's just going to be a little bit of a waiting game right now. The other thing too is, I don't think... No, okay, so that doesn't count. So I was wondering if this would count when he plays out the stage for me to be able to use Bell Luffy's effect. But it looks like it doesn't count for stages. Since they are considered their own separate things. I see, so that's why he kept the 4 Dawn open. So that's actually really, really unfortunate for him, because I really don't think that he understands that he could potentially... Well, actually, oh, yeah, you know what? He couldn't KO the Bell Luffy because he doesn't have an 8 cost or higher on the field. That is really unfortunate for him. But he finally gets to find himself an 8 cost, and he does still have that 4 Dawn open, which makes me wonder if he's potentially going to keep them up and has another Ursus shock in the hand. So maybe that's something that we'll want to keep an eye on. He's going to have another 2k in hand, so genuinely I think we can easily just push for game here in this next turn. Okay, so he decides to use the effect 4000 Brick Fist. So he's going to buff up the hack. That should allow me to... why didn't that work? That should have allowed me to trigger this. I'm not sure why that didn't work, but it's fine. So we'll go ahead and take this. We've got no trigger for that. So he's only leaving himself up with 2 Dawn and very few cards in hand. So I'm just going to take all these hits, to be honest. He's probably going to swing into one of my characters, and that I will counter out of. Unfortunately for our opponent, he's in a very, very tight spot here, and I don't really see how he potentially wins this. You know, we give him a simple 2k for that. I've got a hand flooded with 2ks, and I've also got the Bell Luffy, which I'm going to play out immediately, and then we're going to have 5 swings with 5 Dawn left over. So let's go ahead and play him out first and foremost. Let's go ahead and start swinging at his face. So he's only got the 2 Dawn open, of course, so we have to remember that there's probably not much that he can play for that, and we're looking... Yeah, so this is effectively GG's right here. Probably could have swung 5 with Koala first, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. Because no matter what, unless he has an event that gives him +4, he's going to lose right here. So that is GG's. GG's to our opponents. Oh, and he disconnected before we could do that. So that is our first game. Let's get on to the next one. Alrighty, so we are now up against a Rebecca. So I have not played against Rebecca yet. I haven't actually seen Rebecca list at all. So we're going to be kind of going into this a little bit blind. They did choose to go first, so that means that we're certainly not keeping this fucking hand. This honestly is not any much better. Which is really unfortunate for us. So our first turn is unfortunately going to be a little bit iffy here. So I just got to read what this leader does. So you can press this leader, return one of your Dressrosa type characters to the owner's hand, play one with a cost of 3 from your hand. Okay, so she's going to be cheating out a couple of characters from time to time just by bouncing, I'm guessing, some of her smaller guys. So she'll probably do a lot of searching and then bounce characters, boing, 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 boing. So even though this Viola's a 2k, she'll just be able to bounce that back and have another 2k in hand. Okay, I think I can understand that. So I think what we'll probably do, depending on what she decides to play out right now, because she can't put 2 on and swing with this, and since she decided to play this. So we'll see. Okay, so it's just going to be a 5k, so that's honestly not too bad. So I have 2 options. I could potentially play out the hack, or I could play out the Koala. I think I want to play out the Koala. I want to be a little bit aggressive here, I think, because I have the Zoro in hand. I can heal off my first life that I take and pitch to Luffy. I have nothing in my trash right now, so I most certainly want to just kind of focus on maybe just taking some life and just kind of going a bit aggressive here. So we're going to swing 5 at him. I would imagine he'll likely take this. You know, first one's always free type of gamer. And we'll see what kind of happens here. Yep. Wait, did he take it? Yeah. Oh, that's right, because Rebecca has 5 left. Okay, I thought I was tripping for a second there. So we'll play out the Koala, and then we'll pass it over to them. So now, unfortunately for us, we don't really have a good turn for turn 2. So the 2 options that we have is we can play out the Zoro or we can play out the hack. Genuinely, if I feel like I'm being pressured down enough, I could potentially play out the hack. And I think this is actually a good opportunity for us to play out the hack. Because with them getting the Cavendish, I think this is valuable for us to probably play out that hack, because then I can still attack and draw with Koala. So I can go 6 and 6 here with the 2 Dawn I have left over, get a draw, block his first attack, and pop that Cavendish, because he has no protection. Alright, so he is going to play out the Kairos, so that's actually not too bad. So we're going to have 2 attacks coming our way. I think we'll take the first one, and then we'll give him a 2k on the second one. So I was going to take this. Yeah, it's not too bad. And then he's going to swing again. So I have 2 options, actually. I probably don't want to... So I actually don't want to pitch my Koala. So let's still give him the Sabo here, because I want to get myself some Rebel Army in the trash. Perfect. So let's actually play out this Koala. No, you know what? Let's actually do this first. Let's swing first with the Koala into the Blue Gilly. We'll play out our other Koala. Do some searching. Hopefully we find a dragon or something else. And then we'll play out the hack and then swing 6 into life. And I think that would be good for us. So let's do this. Swing 6 into that. We'll get a card from hand. Because I'm sure that he's not just going to let this go away for free. He did pitch the Viola with the Kairos, though. So that was interesting. Alright, so there you go. So there's that counter that we were looking for. So now, just to confirm, we are at 5 Dawn. We'll play this out, do some soul searching. Unfortunately, all I can grab here is just Captain's Assembled, so that's going to be my play for next turn. So we will go ahead and play out the hack, and we'll go 5 at his face. Draw another card. We get a Borsalino. I'm not too pressed about that. He's most likely just going to take this because, like, I don't see why you wouldn't. Yeah. It just gives him more cards in hand to potentially have for counter. So now this is where I'm going to have to block. I'm just going to block this first attack that he does and pop that Cavendish immediately, because Cavendish does pop anything that has a cost of 4 or less. So luckily enough for us, it does specify base cost. If you ever have anything... Uh-oh. This could potentially be bad. Ooh, that's very unfortunate for us. So the Sabo there into getting rid of our hack really kind of screws over our plans. Man, that's actually unfortunate. So he decides to swing into the Koala. I could let it go through and I can play out the Sabo. To be honest, I think I'm probably just going to do that, and then I still get my blocker. So we'll resolve that, and then we'll play out the Sabo for free. And so now we get to just easily block one of these two attacks that's coming our way. I'll probably still give him a Koala for 1k. And then I'll probably take the second one, and then we can play out Borsalino if we need to. That way we have a blocker, we have that life. He's got no Dawn up, so I might as well just block this first one. And then he's going to swing 5 with the next. Yep. And so then, or you know what? Do we want to play Borsalino? No, I think I'd rather play out the Zoro so I can have a swinger. Next turn is going to look a little bit scary though for us. That's the problem. So I think, yeah, I think I'll go ahead and give him the 1k. I don't want to take my life yet because I'm not in a good spot that I feel stable. I'm not in a very good spot at all. Unfortunately for us, still no dragon. Where are you? And that's not dragon, but I'll certainly take a Nico Robin here at this point. If I could take a Nico Robin. Unfortunately for me, I can't pick up any of these, which really fucking hurts my soul, man. Wow. Okay, that's incredibly unfortunate. So yeah, let's just go ahead and play out the Zoro. We'll pitch. I think the best play for us here is just play Zoro, pitch a Zoro, and then keep the Luffy's in hand now that we know that he is playing the Sabos. That way we could potentially use that to get around the blockers. So we are going to have 3 Dawn left over. So I mean, we might as well... Yeah, we might as well try to swing into some of his stuff. Let's see if we can try to get rid of the Kairos. Because yes, he can add it back to his hand from the trash. But that does still mean that he's going to have to trash a card in order to allow it. So that I'm actually still perfectly fine with. Because he is still going to have to pitch another card from hand to get a rush. So it was going to attack me no matter what. But now I'm forcing him to lose a card in the process while also spending the Dawn to reestablish it. So I'm actually quite okay with that. Now, let's see if we can try to get rid of that. He's probably just going to block it immediately, I would imagine. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't block it with the Sabo here. Okay, so he just decides to give me 1k counter, which I think I'm actually fine with here. Because I think he was probably anticipating the fact that maybe I'll attack with my Sabo. But you thought wrong, my friend. I'm going to play out Zoro, pitch a Zoro, gain a life, and we will pass the turn to you. So now I'm feeling incredibly healthy here, knowing that now I'm back up to more life. So now the next step for us is really just digging for that dragon. Like, I've got nothing with this hand, unfortunately, and this is not a very good hand for us. I'm sure that we've got a dragon hiding somewhere in the wings, and if I do manage to find him, I would like to pick up this Robin, because he has quite a big hand, and I'm not a fan of my opponents having more than 5 cards in hand. So I want to make sure I do everything I can to just whittle that away. Just oh my. Alright. Well, the good thing is it just gets rid of our searcher, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. So I don't really care. So now he's gonna swing a 6. I'm just gonna take So yeah, I'm just gonna immediately take this. We've got no trigger here. What I could potentially do... So here's what I imagine he's probably gonna do. I think he's feeling good with like how much he has in hand, that he can just swing 5, because he's also frozen my Zoro too. That is the other key thing here. My board state is not looking good at all. What I imagine he'll probably do is he'll swing with the Blue Gilly, and then maybe he'll potentially swing with the Sabo as well. So if he does decide to swing with Sabo, he'll probably swing it into my Sabo, because I would want to block this. He'll probably swing into my Sabo. Okay, so he just decides to play out the Kairos first, so now he's going to trash his card from hand. He's playing fucking Jinbei, okay. Let's go ahead and take this. So, no blocks for that. No trigger. Not really the guys who I want to see right now. We'll go ahead and block that. And then... yeah, so that's exactly how I thought it was going to play out, which is perfect. My dude, come on. Come on. Okay, okay. Well, that's not looking too hot for us. So, unfortunately for us right now, Zoro can attack. So that kind of sucks. What? Man. I gotta get rid of this Cavendish, I think. So, I'm gonna have to commit 9 Dawn here to play out both of these. But I'll at least be able to heal 2 life, which is fucking disgusting. Life slop for the win. I think the best case scenario here for us is... let's just try to get rid of this Cavendish, or at least just get another card from his hand. I'm assuming he's just going to give me... alright, cool. So he finally lets it go. So now we have to play out Borsalino first, gain a life. Then we play out Zoro, gain another life. And then we pass the turn with that. Now he's probably sitting there thinking, oh my god, Yellow Slop, fucking hate this. And he would be right. Like, Yellow Slop is kind of disgusting. But given what we have going on right now, like, we've got nothing here, man. We've not seen a single dragon, and it's kind of frustrating that we're not seeing any of the stuff that we need right now. So this is all I can really do to just kind of help me stabilize a little bit. So him doing all of this, we're just going to take, I think, these first 2 lives, because I do still have that second Borsalino. Actually, well, hang on. Like I said, I don't really know what Rebecca plays. I don't know what other stuff he could have. If he decides to play something like another Sabo into a Fire Fist and gets rid of the Borsalino, that would feel bad. I think I'll just let this go through. Then I'll block the Blue Gilly. He'll probably swing into the Borsalino, and then, surprise, I've got another one in hand. So let's actually give him the 2k Sabo here. So we'll go ahead and trash 1. And so if he decides to swing with Blue Gilly, we'll block it. He'll swing into the Borsalino. I go, oh no, my Borsalino! And then I play out another one. So right now, it's just a matter of seeing what he wants to play out. It's possible he could also... okay, yeah, so there we go. So there's the Sabo. He's probably going to... search. Alright, so that was not what I was expecting, actually. So we'll have to see what he picks up here. I imagine he's going to pick up something that... okay, so it's possible that maybe he'll bounce the Kairos and then give something here unblockable. I don't know if he will, though. Okay, so he's just going to full swing with the Gilly. So, okay, so here's what's going to happen, right? So was that Sanji Dressrosa? He is, okay. So what's most likely going to happen is he's going to bounce one of these two. I'd imagine he's going to bounce the Blue Gilly for the counter, play out the Sabo, or play out the Sanji, give the Sabo unblockable, so I'll have to deal with a 9k. So I think I might have to just block this, and then take the next hit. Yeah, so we're going to have to block that. So now he can choose to still do leader effect, bounce one of these, give Sabo unblockable, but at that point, my blocker's already gone. Okay, cool. So he decides not to. We finally see Robin, my girl! I've been waiting for you! But unfortunately, you're so fucking late. Okay, so we're going to have 4 Dawn to play with then. So we need to get rid of one of the... we need to get rid of this fucking board, man. So what I could also do instead... no, it's just so tempting. He's at 5... he's literally at 5 cards right now. I would love to play out this Robin and just, like, smack the shit out of him. Unfortunately, we are going to know that he is going to have the... okay, let's just focus on eliminating his board, and I think if I play out the Robin, that increases my chances, because then he'll just have 2 in hand, or 3 in hand. So let's actually go ahead and do that first. So we'll play out the Robin. We will get rid of... feels bad. Get rid of the baby 5. I really don't want to get rid of the 2k, but I feel like with how this game's going, I've got to keep the Luffy. Like, he's probably going to be my star player. So we're going to focus on just clearing this board. This 8k swing is definitely a bit of a problem, but I don't think I can really do too much against it. So I'm going to see if I can go 5 here, and see if I can potentially get a blocker or some counter. And then I think we're just going to put 2 Dawn on both of these and try to remove the Boa. So... let's go ahead and swing 5 here. Alright, cool. 1 down. Now he's gonna fucking protect this Boa with his goddamn life. So we'll swing 8 into this. He's going to block. Yep. And unfortunately, we're just going to have to do it again. And try to swing another 8 into it. He's just going to block it again. Yep. So unfortunately for us, that's really all we could do. I mean, given the board state, given what we have, like, there wasn't a whole lot that we could do. So we have to remember, he's going to have that unblockable Sanji in hand. We have to be very, very careful about that. We have to be very mindful about that. We're running very low on cards in hand, and it's not been looking too good for us. So he's just going to start swinging immediately. We're just going to take this first life. This will actually be really good for us. Let's draw some cards. Seeing Akuma here is pretty good. The 2k I think still would have been nice, but I mean, this is effectively 2k. This is just drawing us deeper into the deck because we need to see this fucking dragon. Where the hell is this dragon? I guarantee you he's in one of these 2 lives. I don't know which one, but he's in one of them. Fucking guarantee it. So now is going to come the question of what is he going to play next? He could probably play out another Sabo, and if he does, it's like, holy shit. Freaking, he's got 3 9k dudes on the board, but we're just gonna have to see what we can get out here. So now he's just gonna immediately go into that. I think what I should do. That's the problem with him having all this Dawn. I just have no idea what he's gonna do. I think I want to block this because, like I said, we know he has the unblockable Sanji. He has 2 hits that he can swing my way. No, I think what we do is I think we give him 1k. I think we give him the hack. Because I'm probably going to want to heal if I can get to this next one. So we'll give him the hack. And then we'll see what he does. He's most likely going to play out something and then bottom deck the Robin. Take your fucking life, bitch! Take your fucking life! So the good thing for us is that this Jinbei is only going to allow him to... Oh, so actually he can't even do the Jinbei effect. So that actually works out pretty nicely here for us. So he can potentially bounce the Kairos, play it out, trash a card, and then he has these 2 swings. Which is actually kind of disgusting. But we're going to see if that's what he... Okay, yeah, so he is going to do that. Yep. He's going to trash a card, so both these guys have rush. I think I'll take... Oh, he's just going to go into the Zoro. No, I'm going to block... So I'm just going to block the Jinbei, and then we'll counter out of this. I don't need the Kuma since we have the Borsalino, and I'm about to let Robin die, so I still won't be able to get leader effect. We're still just kind of fighting for board at this point. So we'll go ahead and give him 1k. Now he's going to swing Jinbei into whatever. If he swings Jinbei into board, I'll probably block it. So I think this I'll just go ahead and block immediately. Okay, so now you get that. If he decides to swing this Sabo into us, I wonder if we could potentially snipe out a game from here. Okay, you know what? There could be potential. There could be potential. So I'd have to give him 9. So that'd be 6, 7, 8, 9. So we would just clear. Ah, man. I think there's a chance that maybe we could just snipe out the win here. Because this is going to be 7. I can put, no, we can't snipe out the win. We can't snipe out the win. Oh, man. That would be so good if we could, though. Okay, so unfortunately for us, I don't know, man. This is just not looking too good for us. So I'm definitely going to play out this Luffy, but I can't really do anything with him right now. He's not going to be able to swing into these guys. He's just not big enough. And I have to heal as well because I'm just facing down way too big of a board. So I think what we got to do first is... Let's just swing 5 into that. He's probably just going to let it go immediately. Yeah. Man, this has been a really close game. Unfortunately, unfortunately, we just never saw a fucking dragon, which is really upsetting me, man. I bet you these last two are dragons, which is really what's upsetting me the most. So unfortunately, I won't be able to actually kill any of his stuff here. So I think what I'm actually just do is I think I just might double heal again. So we'll do Borsa, gain another life. We'll do Zoro, pitch one, gain another life, and pass. I think I think that's really about all I can do at this point. I'm literally praying for a fucking dragon. I'm just praying for dragon, man. I need my boy. So luckily enough, we've got enough. We've got enough to stop most of his swings. I can't remember if he pitched the Sanji from counter or from the Kairos effect. But yeah, we're gonna take this just immediately. We can draw one. Yeah. Actually, wait. No, we still have the one Dawn. We could potentially save this for one of his swings. It's tempting, but no, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. We have the Dawn open. We can still play it. We can still play into it. It would have been great if I had this for the AK swing though, but it's fine. We'll make it work. We'll see what we can do. Alright, so he's just going to swing immediately with that. We'll take this. We still have no triggers. Come on, man. Give me a dragon. Give me dragon, please. I need him. I've been desperate to draw some cards, man. If I can see dragon, I can play out the Rush Luffy, and then we're feeling really fucking good. I think I've already pitched all three of my Rush Luffys, if I remember correctly. Yep, all three of them are in the trash. So we're getting closer and closer. Let's do a quick deck check. What do we still have? So there's one Zoro, three. Okay, so all four of our Zoros are gone. I've got 1, 2, 3 Borsalinos, so can potentially have one more Borsalino hiding somewhere. I've still got 2 more of these Koalas, 3 more of these, 2 more of these. Alright, so he's just going to give something unblockable. So Jinbei is going to get unblockable. That's fine by me. No trigger. I can still block the next thing that you send my way, my man. Most likely, I imagine he'll just... I don't know what he's potentially going to do. I would like it if he could bounce one of these bigger bodies. That way I can hopefully try to snipe out the win. But we have to just see here. Like, we're actually getting really late into this game. Like, surprisingly enough, this has been lasting really long. But to be fair, fucking, that's yellow slop for you. Okay. Unfortunately for me, I still don't have anything that I need. Like, this has just been horrible, man. This has been horrible. So I'll have 4 Dawn to play with. I can just swing 10 into... I want to swing 10 into his Sabo, but he'll just immediately block it with the freaking Sanji. Yeah, I don't know, man. This sucks. This sucks. Like, this really, really sucks. So, I don't know. I think we just start swinging at his face a little bit here. I think I'll give myself 7k. Let's swing at his face. He's probably just going to take it, I would imagine. I mean, he's really not punished if he just blocks with the Sabo here. Yeah, so that's what I thought. So we're just going to attach the one here, and then we'll swing into his face again. I think all I can do at this point is just try to close it out. So we're going to go ahead and pass here. We've got 1 blocker, we've got a 4k event, and 2, we've got 4 more. We got 4k more in hand. I'm willing to fucking bet this card that I just healed off the top is probably a dragon, and I'm going to be so upset about it. So we're going to do no blocker, we'll give him 4k. Boom. And the key thing to remember too, the reason why I couldn't use this last time is because of the fact that I need to have a card with, or I need to have a guy with 8k more on the field. So we're gonna take this first one. We're gonna make him think that we have a trigger, and then we're gonna say no trigger. So now he's gonna swing another 9. I think what I might do here, just on the off chance he has an unblockable. I'm pretty sure he still has that Kairos in hand. Yeah, I think he has the Kairos in hand, so he might swing big with that too, but I don't really think we can do much. I think I'm just going to block this, take the Jinbei hit, and then pray that we have something manageable. Or I guess... So, actually, no. What I can also do is I can just give him 4k now, and then we can block the Jinbei. I think that's probably the better option, because at least this we can see. So we'll do no blocker, and then we'll go... we'll give him everything in hand. Ooh. Okay, hey, that's fine. We take it. No trigger. So now he used up his turn to give. He used up his unblockable to give the Jinbei unblockable, and now all I have to do is just swing for game. I gotta do the math right here. We have to swing with everybody. We have 4 attacks. Yes, we have 4 attacks, and we just have to land 3. He still has 4 cards in hand, which is gonna make this really tough for us and a blocker. So that's actually the hard part. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure we still lose, but we did our best here. So let's go ahead and put... let's see if we can go... We can go 8, 8, 8, and then that would be 11. So maybe we can go 8, 9, 9, and 8. Okay, yeah, I think we'll just have to go 8, 8, and then yeah. So let's just go ahead and swing 8 to his face. At this point, I'm just going all in. If I don't have enough to kill him, then it is what it is. So I'm gonna put 3 on him. That'll be 9. 2 for the Kuma. That'll be so. Okay, yeah. So I want to do 2 here, because we need to go 8. So we'll go 8 to the face. I'm sure that he'll have enough to counter out, unfortunately for us. I at least think he has a Kairos in hand. So we'll have to see. So let's see what we can potentially do. If I manage to get this win, I'm genuinely going to be surprised, but it's not looking good for us. Alright, so he decides to block it immediately. So let's just go ahead and give him the... So this will be 9 into 9. So I think we'll just go... Yep. 9 to the face. And then we have to just go 9 and pray that he doesn't have enough. I'm sure that we're going to see it right here. Oh my god, we got it! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! How did we get that? Oh my goodness! We never saw a dragon this entire game. Even our next draw wasn't going to be a dragon. Oh! That was the most difficult game ever, man. Holy! Wow. I mean, honestly, really well played by our opponent. He is right. He definitely misplayed that a little bit. I still don't think he would have killed me on that last turn regardless. But unless he would have kept up that second blocker, he could have played it safer. That was just still incredibly well played by him. We did our best to play out of that. They did their best to play out of that. But yellow slop prevails, as much as I hate to say it. But I mean, that was a very close game. That was definitely swingy in anybody's favor, and I think we played that to honestly about as best as we could. Whew, wow, I'm riding on a high after that one. Alrighty, well, thank you for watching this. Let's go ahead and see if we can get one more game in here for you guys. Alrighty, and we are here in our last match of the video. Unfortunately, Rosi's a very hard matchup. So I'm actually going to keep this hand. We are going second, so this is actually pretty good for us, but we're just going to have to hope and pray that we can kind of get through this, because unfortunately for us, Rosi's just incredibly difficult for Koala to deal with. I can still tax him when he plays out the 8-cost law, but unfortunately for us, all of his guys are just so big that it's incredibly difficult for us to get through them. So I think the best game plan for us is to maybe just be a little bit aggressive with our early counters and then maybe try to heal where we can. So first thing I'll try to do here is I'll go ahead and pitch the... Yeah, I think I'll pitch the Koala. Actually, no. I think I need the extra aggression, so I'll actually pitch the Hack. And we'll play out the Koala next turn, because I think against Law, you just need to be aggressive against him. It's just hard, but there's not really a good answer for us into him. So we're just going to go ahead and start off with a 5 at his face. He'll likely just block that, I would imagine. Yeah, kind of expected. We'll go ahead and play out our Koala, and then we'll pass the turn. Now, the reason why I decided to play out Koala instead of Zoro is, I mean, we could potentially put the Zoro, just get an early heal, and just kind of hope that gives us a little bit of aggression. But the reason why I didn't want to do it is because I don't want to play out Zoro yet. I want to establish my 8 costs on the field first. That was kind of the main reason why. So this is actually a very unfortunate series of events here for us. I wanted to play out Hack this next turn. I might just have to take this because I don't know if I want to give him that much cards. I'd have to give him 2 cards in hand for this. No, you know what? I think that's fine. I'll give him 2 of the 2Ks, and then we'll play out the Hack still, and then we can potentially suit up 2 6K swings into his guy, and then we'll force him to take a life. So yeah, let's go ahead and give him the 4K. So let's go ahead. Yeah, let's start off first by trying to swing our 6 into a 6. We'll see if he decides to take life. Okay, so he decides to leader effect. That's good for us. Anything that just kind of gets us a little bit closer, I think, is going to be great. So now he'll probably just block with the Rosinante and Law. So it doesn't really matter for us anymore. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and play out... Yeah, I want to draw a card here. So we'll play out the we'll play out the Hack, and then we'll go ahead and put 1 on here, and they'll just swing at his face, draw a card. We get another Dragons, that's pretty good for us. We're going to be relying on these Dragons. I think what really is going to help us in this matchup is we need to see Bell Luffy. Bell Luffy is by far going to be the best answer for us into this matchup. Whether he decides to counter out of our attacks or if he decides to block out of our attacks, Bell Luffy will literally save our asses. So we are going to have to make sure that we can do everything that we can to dig for that Bell Luffy, which is why instead of doing the Zoro and healing an extra life, I decided that it would be better off for me to just establish my second body so I can draw an extra card. So, unfortunately for us, he's making his entire board pretty big this turn, which I don't quite like. We are going to be at 8 Dawn next turn, which is fine. So we'll go ahead and take this. We will trigger... Ooh, there we go, there we go. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Let's go ahead and grab that Kuma. Alrighty. So now what I think what we can do, let's try to block with the Hack. I'll attempt to pop his Law and see if we can force him to do leader effect again. So let's go ahead and pop that. Boom. Give me leader effect. Take a life. There we go. There we go. So now we're both even on health, which kind of helps us out a bit. He could potentially swing with the Rosinante and Law. But if he does, he's leaving himself very vulnerable to my crackback. So I'm hoping that he actually just keeps us alive. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright. So, no thoughts. We're immediately playing out Dragon. Boom, boom, and we'll return that. Let's play out our Luffy. Alright, first things first. We're just going to go ahead and swing 5 to his face, just so I can draw my card. Perfect. So now, let's see if we can do... we're going to swing into his Sugar. Yep. And then... So here's the thing, right? I could... rush in now with the Luffy and potentially get another, either some counter or a blocker. I mean, best case scenario, we get blocker and then he forces him to have to take life. I doubt that he's going to do that. I think the best option here for us is to hold on to this Luffy Yeah, because he's got the 1-down open, so we know for sure he has I love you. But he doesn't have any laws to return back with it. So, you know what? Fuck it, we ball. Let's swing in. He's just going to give us 1k counter, of course. If he knows what he's doing, he's just going to give us 1k counter. Although it'd be really fucking funny if he blocked. It'd be the funny... Yes! Let's fucking go! That's right, bitch! That's fucking right! Oh my god, we got so much cardboard from him for that. Wow! I love this Luffy. And you know what's the best part? You know what's the best part? If he decides to kill it, I just say, sure. Bring it again. Oh my lord. Alright, so let's go ahead and give him a 2k here. So yeah. Unfortunately for us, this is going to be a little bit tricky. Oh, yep. For sure, take a life immediately. No questions asked. So now he's just going to start swinging pretty hard. Then he's going to return this. He's going to heal back a life. Which is quite annoying, but it's going to be fine. I don't really want to give him both. No, hang on. We should give him both of these right now because we know that he's going to play out another blocker potentially. So let's just do it now, I'd say, yeah. So we'll just give him the 2k, boom. Because I was initially thinking about taking the life, but like honestly, there's no benefit in that because then I can't stop any of the other attacks, which is going to really be the main unfortunate part for us. So now I imagine he's probably just going to swing into us again. He's probably going to swing this lot into our Luffy. And so like, okay, no, he's just going to keep going straight at my face. So we got no trigger on that one. He really just wants to go into our face. If he decides to swing with this Rosi and Law, this could actually be game against us, which is a little bit spooky. Okay, so he does decide to swing in. So now I do have to respond with, unfortunately, not enough. That is really unfortunate for us, man. That really fucking sucks. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you see what you need, sometimes you don't. I think what we probably could have done instead of the Luffy is we could have potentially played out the Borsalino, but, you know, we know... I kind of got a little bit, you know, blinded by the fact that, like, hey, Luffy's the win con, gotta play him out. I think we probably should have played it a little bit slower, maybe played out the Borsalino. Maybe gone from there, but, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you misplay. We are still, of course, trying to figure out and test and tweak this deck list, so we're trying to just get it perfect. And like I mentioned before, Rosinante is just a really, really hard matchup for us. There's not really much that we can genuinely do against him. It's just incredibly difficult to play around. So, GG's to our opponent. They did well. We did our best, but, you know, the, Foot Luffy was not enough. So, I hope you enjoyed, this Koala, this OP-15 Koala decklist breakdown. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video with a friend, share the video with somebody who wants to, continue to tackle the meta. Someone who wants to play the best deck in the format, because despite the fact that Rayquaza is banned, we've got Rayquaza at home, So, yeah, so please just share this with your friends. I would really appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. And yeah, that's all I really have for you guys. As always, every draw counts, so always aim to be the king of top decks. We're signing out.